Hi everyone, I am super excited to have Irina Alexandru sitting here with me. Irina is now program manager at Fitbit, but previously she was program manager at Vector Watch. So Irina, this is a big change for you. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation, because today we will not talk about Vector Watch, but we will talk about manufacturing in China in particular. So welcome.
Thank you very much for having me here.
Irina, first of all, when should a startup go to China?
Well, I noticed that most of the hardware startups are intimidated by this moment of going to China. It's a faraway country, it's a language that no one knows to speak, so we find a lot of reasons to delay this moment. It seems that finding a close manufacturer to us sounds like a good idea and less stress and effort. But let's face it, China is the manufacturing hub of the world since 20 to 30 years. There are industries where we cannot find manufacturers in any other place than China. So it seems logical to go there. So I would recommend all startups to find their idea, to define their idea first, to gather the team that should be made from a product designer, an electronical engineer, a mechanical engineer, find the right developers for firmware and software. And after they gather all this team, they should start prototyping their idea in a local prototyping studio. After several iterations of this idea, you find that is validated. So after you validate, this is the right moment to go to China. And when you go to China, you should have, you should prepare your files, you should do your homework very well. You should have like CAD models, 3D models, Gerber files, schematics, all this information about the product. You should also have things like examples of materials, examples of similar products that will help you explain your idea. And then all this project is ready, so you can actually go there. Don't expect to have all the answers to your questions before arriving in China. It's very important to count on your partners, and they will probably help you with a lot of things, and you will understand how manufacturing works only after you visit a factory in China.
Speaking about partners and network and connections, a few years ago we had Josh Liu as a speaker at Houtem conference, and he was saying that if you don't have a network already, built in China, if you don't have investors that you know there, if you don't have distribution partners that you know there, you shouldn't go to China, because this is not the right thing to do. So my question is, how did you at Vector Watch, and generally speaking, not only about Vector Watch, manage this process?
Well, I agree with Josh. You cannot just buy a plane ticket and go to China. You need someone to introduce you to the right factories, to the right people. In our particular case, we worked with our team network who recommended us the certain factories to go and visit them. But I also had very good examples of companies, international companies that have offices in China as well, and can help startups finding some factories that may help them with the production. And but what I don't recommend is to count on someone who intermediates all this process. So if you go to a company and they tell you we will have all the contacts with the factories, you don't have to speak with them at all, then something is wrong. It's not.
Something is fishy.
Yeah, it's fishy. and all these consulting companies will take out from your margins and delay the process because there is no one who knows the project better than you and your team. So you should be the one who goes there with a trusting partner to check the factories and to find the right company for you.
I think that one of the obstacles that entrepreneurs find or encounter when they go to China is not only related to cultural issues, but also about or related to language. Does this apply in your case as well?
Well, I was lucky from this point of view. I had cultural contact with China since my university, so I knew what to expect. But if you are not familiar with the culture, if you are not familiar with the language, I can give you some advices if you have to go to China and talk with the manufacturer. So first of all, if you have a real Chinese town nearby, just go there and grab your lunch and try to speak with Chinese people, real Chinese people. If they will probably know how to speak English, but they will have a particular accent, so you have to understand how they speak and what is their meaning. You'll also see them speaking loud, probably. You don't have to be afraid. They are not fighting. They are just talking normally. This is the way they behave. Also, they really enjoy social life, food, and like gathering around a meal. So if you go visiting a factory there, expect to have lunch and dinner with your business partners. You will have to share meals in like big round tables where everybody eats from the same plates. So this might be
a little bit weird.
A little bit weird, but yeah, once you get used to this, it's a really nice atmosphere, and they love to see that Europeans or Western people are enjoying their food and customs. So make sure that you let them know anytime you find something tasty.
Skipping from food to tech products, what can you tell us about shipping? How do you choose the best way, the best method to ship your products from China to, I don't know, your home country maybe?
If you have manufacturing in China, you have two ways of shipping. One is by air and one is by sea, and it's just a mass process. You have to see what type of product you have. If your product is weight a lot and has a big volume, you'll probably have no chance to ship it by plane. It will be too expensive. But if you manufacture small products, I suggest you to put them in small packaging as well, so you might earn a lot of time by shipping them by air. The difference is like from 1-2 days to 30 days. So depending on how urgent the delivery is, then you should take the decision. It's just the math.
What would you advise early stage entrepreneurs, maybe first time entrepreneurs that are now thinking to build a tech product, a hardware product, in fact?
I would not underestimate the cost of manufacturing and how much money you need to make a hardware startup. You need in a hardware startup. And also, if you are building a product for consumers, you really need to understand how much money the marketing will cost, and to have some experience in guerrilla marketing techniques, because any startup, if they want to fight with big brands, they will have to find different ways to approach consumers. But I think most of the failures in hardware startups are because the founders cannot cannot say how much money they need from the beginning, and they cannot anticipate the unpredictability of the R&D cost and manufacturing cost and so on. So try to make your budget and put at least 50% more.
That's a good number.
if you are thinking of making a hardware startup, yes.
Well, Irina, thank you so much for your time and for sharing all these lessons learned by now by you, and I'm sure that the future holds only good things. And I hope that we will catch up soon and speak about new tech products that you're building, right?
Yes, well, I hope I will be allowed to speak about them, but yeah, hopefully in the near future we will do that. And good luck to all the hardware entrepreneurs out there.
Thank you so much. Thank you.